The fifth selection on the Share service on the right of the top bar is Print. Select Print when you have a document open and positioned for printing. On the top line, printer name is a list of printers that can be defined by the administrator. In this case, I don't have any defined. And beside that are a selection of printers being the printers that are installed on this particular workstation. So these are the printers that I have installed on my particular workstation. Select one of those printers, and the button to the right of that is the properties for that printer. So for example, I see that I'm in portrait mode here, and I'd really like to be in landscape mode. Well, that's going to be controlled by, in general, the properties of the printer that you're printing to. So I select properties, and I get the standard dialog for the properties of that particular printer. Select landscape, say OK, and now my paper orientation is in landscape. In addition, I can do a print to file, meaning that I'm going to just create a single digital file that then becomes transportable. When I give it the file name and look at the save as type, it's going to be saved as a PRN file. So you can actually save the document as one digital file, and then you can transport that on a thumb drive, etc. If I have multiple documents, for example, a multi-sheet drafting document, I can also select print to one file. So instead of creating multiple PRN files, it will create one PRN file with all of those sheets in it. Left is position and size, and left center, I should say, landscape versus letter. And here I see no fitting, fit in page, and fit to. If I keep it at fit to, I can then create a margin left and bottom and define the width and the height. I can scale it. And in addition, I can say origin. The origin will take the intersection of the left and bottom margins and put the lower left of the image aligned with that. Or I can say center on the page. I can also say fit in page so that the dimension that first intersects the edges of the paper size is the one that becomes the maximum on the page. And I can also do no fitting. So there's the actual size of the part. I'm going to leave it at fit in page. I want to see what that's going to look like on the page, and over to the right, the last button on that set of buttons, I have preview. Select that, and it will give me a preview of what it's going to look like on the paper. If I want to actually manipulate this preview closer to see some of the detail, make sure I've got what I want on there, I can actually use the standard manipulation tools to zoom in, zoom out, pan, etc. Of course, I can't rotate because it's planar. And then once I'm finished with doing that and everything is okay, I can do the fit all in. And that's the yellow square with the 4 arrows in the upper left, left mouse select. And I can actually print right from here, or I can just say okay and go back and make other changes and then print from here. Depending on the printer type, there is a page setup function, and the functions that are on here are a function of the particular type of printer that's being utilized. In addition, there are options. I can select that I want to use monochrome or I want to do it in color, etc. I can put a banner on the page, printed by and the user and the date and the time, and determine where that's going to go positionally, etc. And then there are various items that are additional items of interest for printing to that particular printer. If I have a multi-sheet document, again, for example, a drafting document with multiple sheets, I can do tiling. Tiling is if I have a document that was designed to be put on a roll-fed plotter, for example, I can actually set up tiling by selecting to turn it on and then its definition, and I can determine how many tiles I want, what the center of the tile is going to represent, the overlap between the pages. And what this will allow me to do, for example, is if I have a long, narrow plot, I can actually create multiple pieces of letter size paper, define the overlap, and then I can actually tape them together so that I can have that actual plot as a long stretch of 8.5 by 20 feet or whatever the case may be. I'm going to turn that back off again. And then the print area, if I select the drop down, I have whole document, meaning that everything that is geometry, ignoring what's on the screen because I may be zoomed into this one solid. Or I can say I want to do the display area of the screen, or I can also say I want to make a selection of what I want to print, select this tool that then becomes highlighted, and I can left mouse and click and hold and drag across the image to determine the section that's actually going to be printed. Now in this case it's going to be very small in the lower left corner, so I can just say fit in page, do my preview, and there's the image of that corner that I have selected for that particular print option. Say OK, do the OK or apply, and that will do your printing on the selected printer.